Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's lunchtime here on Monday, and it's an overcast day with a gentle breeze coming through and some lovely colours. I love it when the city is a little bit overcast because it just provides us with an opportunity to see the beautiful contrasts, and especially these ferries, the bottle green with that yellowy colour, that fawn yellow. It's just glorious. Anyway, let's go for a bit of a walk and talk and have a chat about a book summary that I've got for you today. It's a wonderful book, a book that I read last night, or a book summary that I read last night, and it was so good that I reread it a couple of times because there are a number of points in there which are just so profound and so powerful that I just wanted to just get it right so that I can pass it on. And if you're interested in a good book to read, or a good book summary to read, then go for this one here. The book is entitled One Small Step Can Change Your Life, and it's written by an author, Robert Maurer. So it's all about Kaizen, that Japanese term of small incremental steps. It's described in English as Kanai, constant and never-ending improvement, but it's all about taking small steps. And whilst I came across the term Kaizen many years ago when I was working at IBM as a young executive, it's only now that I appreciate the importance or the power in its simplicity, because there's more to it than meets the eye. So the author talks about how small steps done consistently lead to massive returns. And it's very similar to the compounding effect that you see in investing. So a compound interest reinvested over and over again can snowball into a massive outcome, a massive return on investment. So this whole principle of Kaizen, or Kanai, continuous and never-ending improvement, once you adopt it into your lifestyle, into your way of thinking, can absolutely transform your life and transform the life of all of those around you as well. So why is it important to take small steps? Why don't we just go hell for leather and go for the home run to just put in a massive effort and get a massive return? Look, the author says that works as well sometimes, but not for most people. And this is where the theme of this book really hits a chord with me and really nails it, because most people live in fear and don't like change in any way, shape or form. But the author is able to highlight something very important from a psychological and a scientific perspective, which supports this notion of small steps. Because what happens is that when you take small steps, small insignificant steps, but consistently, what happens is that these small steps circumvent the brain's built-in resistance to new behaviours. Because we all have resistance. We've got a part of the brain called the amygdala, which is always scanning the universe, scanning your universe for things which may be lurking, that could be dangerous. And if it does identify something which is dangerous, what it does is it instigates our fight or flight response and causes us to be anxious, to be worried, to be upset, and to be on guard. But what the authors are saying is that it's very, very important for all of us to learn how to disarm our amygdala, disarm our brain, and the way you do it is by changing the way you do things so that you trick it. You trick your brain into not resisting and not pushing back, which is a wonderful, powerful tool to have. So the reason why we push back is a natural response, because our brains, our bodies have been hardwired to recognize fear and danger and to protect us. So it's there to provide a function. However, in protecting us from things that could be dangerous, it also protects us and stops us from doing things that could be greatly productive and things that can change your life for the better. So what the author talks about in the book here is to ask yourself small, gentle questions. Ask of your brain small, gentle questions. And we keep the fight or flight response in the off position. So what you want to do is you want to tread softly, move slowly, so you don't alarm. It's a little bit like a cat or a lion, sneaking up on its prey. It does it slowly, it does it deliberately, so it doesn't spook the prey, and when the time is right, it just pounces. So low key, the trick is to be low key, and as the author says, low key changes circumnavigate the fear that blocks success. Because we all have fears, there's no doubt about it, we all have fears. And realistically, all change is scary because we're going to a place that we haven't been before. We're doing things that we don't know whether or not they're going to be successful or they're going to be an absolute failure. We're all pretty similar, and we're on the same paper, same page when it comes to these things. But the author says that there is a beauty in taking small, deliberate steps, because as we said before, it disarms the brain's fear response. So what we need to do is to learn a very empowering technique. And this is something that we can all use right away, because by learning how to tiptoe past the amygdala, the part of your brain which searches for danger and stimulates cortisone and adrenaline into your body to combat or to get you ready for a fear, a flight or fight response. By tiptoeing past the amygdala and not alarming it, you're not setting off the alarm bells that will awaken the anxiety and the immediate response. So we need to soothe our distress, because we are worried to resist change. We need to do it in a smart way, I guess the word is, because if we're too abrupt and not mindful in terms of how we get things done, then we could be our own worst enemy, is I guess one of the themes of this book. So let's not forget that fear is sometimes a gift. We need to be fearful of things that could endanger our lives. But the reality is less than 10% of all the fears that we ever cross our mind will ever be possible of happening, because most of those fears are irrational. There's no chance in the world most of those fears will come to fruition. And of the ones that are real, the real fears, then a very, very small percentage of those are high risk. The rest are very low risk, and you can manage that risk. So as we said before, we need to learn the art of asking ourselves small, quality questions that lead us step by step to where we want to go. In terms of how the brain is structured, the hippocampus is the main criterion of storage in our brain, and it's based on repetition. So if you do things over and over and over and over again, we become a lot more comfortable with those activities, and those activities, those habits, become routines, and then we can do it automatically. So if we're asking ourselves small, simple questions over and over again, our brain pays attention to them and seeks those easy answers. And it doesn't get alarmed because the answers are easy. There are small steps. We can take small steps, we can ask simple questions and access simple answers. So you need to ask yourself on a regular basis, when you're sitting down to plan your activities and plan your day, what is the smallest step that I can take to make progress, but at the same time bypass fears by not awakening the amygdala and arousing fear? So one of the questions we need to ask ourselves in order to get a lot more comfortable with growth and development and pushing ourselves and making progress is, if I was guaranteed not to fail, what would I do differently? It's a very, very powerful question. If I was guaranteed not to fail, what would I do differently? So the author then calls us to consider, to be mind sculptors. Think of your mind as a piece of marble, and you've got the chisel and the hammer in your hand, and by slow, small, trivial, easy and painless taps of the hammer and chiseling out pieces of marble, of that soft, delicate marble, you can transform whatever you want into whatever you want. So just think of it and take this advice on board. And the Japanese, God bless them, have been masters of this small step repeated consistently. And I've done this with my martial arts. With my martial arts over the years, it's all about doing drills. And you start with simple drills and you do it over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. And once you've mastered those simple drills, then you go to other drills which are a little bit more complex, but all they are is a compounding of the simple drills which you already know. They're already included in your mind muscle memory, and all you do is just start adding drill 1 to drill 3, and then adding drill 1 and 3 to drill 4, and you start building up more complex drills, and before you know it, you've been able to achieve things that you couldn't have achieved if you had to do it all at once and all at the one time. So Kaizen is the Japanese term, and the best way of describing it in English is kanai, which means constant and never-ending improvement. So let's learn to cut back the size of the tasks that we do into small, easier bits, and to take on board this learning that we've picked up today, and to understand that whilst fear is our friend in some circumstances, in many, many other very, very important times, fear is our mortal enemy, especially the fear that is seeded from an irrational basis. You've got to learn and understand that we're surrounded by people who will constantly remind you and constantly try and have you live in a world characterized by fear, uncertainty and doubt. I call these people the Elmer Fudds. the Elmer Fuds of our world, because FUD stands for fear, uncertainty and doubt, and they're in their little cars tooting their horns everywhere they go, calling everybody else a road hog. But at the end of the day, they're the ones who are causing irreparable damage to the people around them, because they're both directly and indirectly causing them to seize up. They're stimulating their amygdala, the part of the brain which looks for danger. So they artificially stimulate that part of of our brains to the point where people freeze up, become sensitive, and basically procrastinate and don't do anything with their lives for fear of having those sorts of issues. So I think that's about it for today. So thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5 a.m. Club on this wonderful Monday after lunchtime. As I said, I'm in the process of pumping out as many 5 a.m. clubs as I can, because I've set myself a bold goal, but I'm getting there. I'm closing in on 600 vlogs in total, over 500 in English and 61 in Greek, and my total goal is to get to 1,000 in English and 1,001 in Greek. I've bought myself a drone for Christmas. That's my Christmas present to myself. And what I dearly hope to do one day is to get the drone up in the air, to highlight Sydney from a different perspective, to highlight Greece or wherever I travel, Nelson Bay, from a different perspective, and to do Jim's 5 a.m. Club voiceovers on that drone footage. Anyway, I've got the hiccups, so sorry about that. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. But by the same token, let's learn to take small, deliberate steps. And I'm on the Commissioner steps here at Circular Quay. Let's take small, deliberate steps so that we don't stimulate the amygdala part of our brains, to keep fear at bay and to enable us to grow, develop, and to be the person we're destined to be, and not to be victims of our fears and of the fears that other people try and push onto us, the Elmer Fuds of the world. So I guess that's about it. So let's finish up, and I wish you all the best. I look forward to coming to you again tomorrow from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment to help us grow and develop, to look at the world through positive eyes, and to learn from the greats, to be able to incorporate OPE, other people's experiences in our lives, rather than we try and reinvent the wheel on our own, because we just don't have enough time, don't have enough years. So it makes much more sense to be able to learn from others and to share and to live shared experiences where we can, to brighten our days and make our lives more productive, happier and less stressed. Thank you once again, and we'll chat again. Yassas, Erafilaki from Jim's 5 a.m. Club, and I'll be back again tomorrow from another location, and we'll chat through another topic. Who knows what it'll be, but we'll have to wait and see, because even I don't know what I'm doing next. Yassas, and bye for now.